right, what I want to talk about now, Zach, is the gym leaders, right? This is going to be kind of fundamental to your playthrough, whether it is scaling like in your game or if it is something more linear, like in my game, like if we were to start in Kanto and then end up in Johto. Again, what I'm going to be looking here for is the Pokemon that these characters will use, but then also maybe looking at each of these gym leaders and identifying like what their new role would be, where they'll be at in their life. Again, I think their teams and the levels that they have will scale. Maybe something won't be fully evolved or whatever. But let's start with, let's do this. Let's start in Kanto. We'll start with Brock, and we'll work our way up into Johto, right?
I will say one thing I'd want with the gyms is one for each type, and since Gary's a gym leader and he doesn't use a set type,
I think he'd be retired.
3 gym leaders. Well, I would actually love to keep him around. I think he's a great gym leader, but I would love to add 3 gym leaders. One for the missing types, which would be Dark, Fairy, and Ground now. Because,
I'm down.
Blue took place of that. Silver as a Dark gym leader is just perfect.
Yeah, that is sick.
I mean, I'd love that so much.
And that would, again, progress him as a character. And to think that he would be... That's actually really cool, because it's almost like with, not to reference Star Wars again, but like Luke and Vader, right? If Silver is the son of the evil villain Giovanni, he has darkness within him. Maybe he's mastered the dark type with his Sneasel, with Tyranitar, right? He's got darkness, but he's a good guy, and he's playing, right? That's actually really beautiful.
No, like they kind of did that with Pierre's, right? Like he's the leader of Team Yell, and Team Yell are jerks, but like he's actually a pretty good guy who looks out for his town, he looks out for his people, he looks out for his sister. But then Fairy, we did see this just off the top of my head. Nina from Sun and Moon.
Would love to see
why not
other characters returning to the Kanto and Johto region.
Like it was so cool in Unova to see Caitlyn from Sinnoh. Now an Elite Four member in Unova.
Those are my favorite moments of Pokemon games. Seeing Jasmine at Sunny Shore. What is it? Sunny Shore City.
Sunny Shore City.
Seeing Jasmine there.
Johto had a lot of.
Is there a lighthouse?
There were a lot of Sinnoh characters that popped up in Johto and Heart Gold and Silver. Like I remember Crasher Wake was shopping in the mask section of the department store.
That's
just
so true.
Little stupid things like that, and you don't battle him or nothing. He's just kind of, I'm looking for mask. I'm Crasher Wake, and that's it. That's the kind of stuff I'd be looking for in this type of game. I don't know who you'd do for Ground, but you could just do a new character and it'd be fun.
And
you do need to have new characters too that aren't related to anybody. I think. Like
no, absolutely. And I think as we go through these gym leaders, I think that's up for debate. If let's say Brock retires, like the next gym leader that takes over the Pewter City gym doesn't need to be ground type or rock type. It can be any type, right? It could be fire. It could be whatever it needs to be. But let's start. So here's how this is going to work. We've got Gym 1 with Pewter City. This is Brock. I think Brock is understood to be about like maybe 13. He's supposed to be a kid, but a little bit older than the 10-year-old, maybe even 16. But I've also, for reference,
when he first appears in the Pokemon anime, which I think the ages still kind of line up between the two. He was supposed to be 15, it says, according to Bulbapedia.
So if Brock is still, that's good. 15.
He's 45.
If Brock is still the gym leader in Kanto 30 years later, he'll be 45 years old. And I've pulled here his...
Has he found a wife?
Yeah.
He's married to a Nurse Joy. This is the ending I want.
Yeah, this is the ending I want. And honestly,
he has a harem with Nurse Joy and Officer Jenny.
That would be so funny if you talk to the Pewter City gym leader, the Pewter City Nurse Joy, and she's like, "Oh, have you fought the gym leader yet? That's like my husband's very strong."
But then even better, like you also have like an Officer Jenny in town that's like, "Have you bound my husband Brock yet?" And so it's like,
you're like, "Wait, what? He has
Did Brock marry both of them?"
Yeah. So I pulled up here these characters, these gym leaders, full teams. These are canon from the Generation 5 Pokemon World Tournament. And again, I think this feature in Gen 5 solidifies my headcanon that these gym leaders have maxed out teams, but use scaling teams depending on whoever they're facing. So as we can see here,
like they had that in Origins as well. In Origins, it showed Brock say to Red, like, "Oh, this is your first gym? Okay, hang on. And he like pulls out a little drawer and picks 2 Pokeballs based on that.
Which is so cool. So, so canonically, Brock has an Onix, a Golem, Kabutops, Tyranitar, Aerodactyl, and Rhyperior. We also see in Heart Gold Soul Silver that Brock also has an Amistar, and he also has a... What else does he have? Maybe like a Dugtrio? No, it has to be like rock type.
He trades something to you, and I think it's for a Bonsly, which would imply he now has a Bonsly because you gave him a Bonsly, or maybe he gives you a Bonsly.
Yeah.
But either way, he now would have a Bonsly or a Sudowoodo to use.
Sure.
Then another thing you could look at is I'm pulling it up now, but he in Black 2 and White 2 in the World Tournament, he uses an Amistar and a Relicanth.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
They shift up their teams?
In the World Tournament, he uses a Relicanth.
Isn't this the World Tournament? What I have up?
I don't know, is it?
Maybe these might be the final teams. That's what it might be.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Kanto leaders. So in Kanto leaders, he uses a Relicanth. But if you're
all right, well, that's cool.
Good. I'll have it up on my
That's
end.
Cool.
So
that's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah.
All right, so if this is Gym 1, what are we thinking we give him? I think he's still a gym leader. Here's the thing.
Yes.
If Brock in the anime is different than Brock in the games, I feel like Brock in the games, he's a good, like he likes to fight. I feel like Brock likes to fight, and Brock wants to be a gym leader. So he's 40, and it's interesting because in the anime we also see him at like becoming the gym leader after his father, and he's got this big family. You know what, dude? Honestly, I almost want to throw a little curveball and say I think Brock actually would become. I don't know. I almost feel like he would evolve his Onix into a Steelix. And then I feel like...
then it's not Rock anymore.
No, you're right. Also, this is the first gym.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you can do them in any order, maybe he eventually... You know what, dude? He's got Geodude and Onix. Why not he becomes a ground type?
And he still has Rhyperior. Yeah.
So he's the ground type, and someone else is the rock type gym leader now.
That's cool. That could be cool. All right, we'll just kind of shelf that. I think there's plenty of Pokemon here. I actually don't like Tyranitar on his team. I think that's kind of... It's just like too OP. It's a pseudo.
Well, and if we're doing Silver as a dark type gym leader, I would want that to be like his ace.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that sounds good. So that's Brock. I think Brock. Yeah, honestly, his team is just kind of fine for this, right? But we got to switch it up a little bit, right? I don't know if he ends up with what other rock types are in Gen 1. Honestly, just give him two of the fossils. Just give him two.
I mean, he's
just
in
give him
the
two of the
town
fossils.
Where like you get the old Amber and it's like a museum for fossil Pokemon. Why does he not have a fossil?
He should have
Kabuto.
He should have two of the fossils. 100%.
Yeah.
That's what he should have.
He does use Aerodactyl, Kabutops, and the Amistar too, so that's like canon as well.
So Brock in this new game would have a Amistar and a Kabuto and an Onix. I think that's fair. Chuck the Geodude.
Yeah,
let's move on to Cerulean City. This would be the second gym leader that you would fight. Which I feel like this core, Brock and then Misty, is in Lieutenant Surge, which is the third gym. That's kind of core. Again, going back to my idea of that, like if Game Freak wants to give us this game, Pokemon wants to introduce, because this game is also introducing Kanto to a whole new generation, right? This is the generation on the Switch 2, right? On the Switch's successor, right? So the Switch had Let's Go, and the DS had Heart Gold Soul Silver, or I guess they just had a Heart Gold Soul Silver. Switch 2 people are introduced to Kanto through this story, through this game, and I think they're going to want to keep the Brock, Misty, Lieutenant Surge core as the introduction. So we have Misty here. Her team's
I'll push back on that, but we're not on Lieutenant Surge yet.
Okay, sure. So I think Misty's team's always been kind of like, just like it's felt like a waste. I love Starmie.
They changed it in Let's Go.
Did they? What is it now?
Yeah, they replaced Staryu with Psyduck.
That's cool. I like that actually a lot.
I think that's great. It was clearly like, since Let's Go is the remake of Yellow, and Yellow was like an anime game, like it mirrored that.
Yeah.
It was clearly like in reference to that she, Psyduck's like a synonymous Pokemon to her. She uses Golduck in the World Leaders Tournament as well. her team actually differs a lot from what you have on screen in the Kanto Leaders Tournament. She uses
let me look that up.
Sea King instead of Jellicent, Golduck instead of Lantern, and she uses a Slowbro as well. I can't remember if that was one she had on there.
Oh, I see it now.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay, cool. All right, well, we have these to reference. But so here's one more thing that I think would be interesting. In this Kanto Johto game, I do think it is also important that we know about Johto Pokemon throughout the playthrough of Kanto. I don't think it should be the whole purpose, but I think as you're playing through Kanto, if you get a Scyther, you should be able to evolve it into a Scizor, right?
Absolutely.
If you get, what are some other ones? If you get an Eevee, you should have the option to evolve it into an Espeon.
Yes.
Even
some
before you get to Johto.
Incomplete without it. Like
100%.
Golbat feels incomplete to me. I need to evolve it into
100%.
Crobat for me to feel complete. Also, too, a lot of the Johto Pokemon are found in Kanto, right? Like Slugma, Houndour, I think Murkrow.
Yep. So for Misty specifically, she doesn't really have a lot of. She does. She has two. In Black and White 2, she has two Johto Pokemon. And I like Lantern in this slot. I think that actually adds a lot of... I feel like the paralysis could be interesting. I think it kind of reminds me of a dolphin. It's cute. It's a little bit more feminine on that side. But I always think of Misty's gym in the anime where it's like this giant aquarium. And Lantern fits the bill for me on that. So I think Lantern could be an interesting Pokemon. No, I'm wrong. It should be Corsola. She should have a Corsola.
Yeah, just like in the anime, that
Psyduck,
would be really cool.
Corsola, and Starmie. That's what I would. That's
For
what
it's worth, too, in Masters, she also has a Vaporeon.
That's cool. That would be kind of cool too. And Vaporeon is a iconic Kanto Pokemon.
Oh yeah.
So that
an
honestly,
iconic water type.
That could be pretty good as well.
Gyarados would also be kind of cool.
Gyarados would be cool. I do think it's a pretty strong threat stat-wise.
I think I like that.
Yeah, I do too. That is kind of cool.
I want her to, like, her first Mon is just, like, crap, you know? But her second Mon, like, it's easy for me to take out her first Mon, and it gives you that little bit of an ego, right?
Yeah.
And then she throws out the Gyarados, and you get the Intimidate, and you're like, ooh, you know?
No, absolutely. I think that'd be really fun. She also has... Yeah, so in Heart Gold Soul Silver, she also has that Quagsire. So maybe she has a Quagsire. I'm not really sure. But what's cool about this is that this game really could be scaling. And maybe in the post-game, you get to rebattle any of these gym leaders, right? With their beefed up teams. That's the kind of post-game content that I like really miss. I miss being able to just like go back
the
and
dojo where you could collect the gym leaders. That was so cool.
That's cool. So let's move on to the third gym leader now. We have Lieutenant Surge. So were you saying you don't think he should be the third gym leader? Because let's pull up the map. Where are we at right now? So we started in Pewter. Oh,
yeah. Wait.
Wait, we kind of missed it, dude. We kind of missed.
Yeah, because Viridian is there.
Viridian City. Do you think Viridian City should be a first gym? Honestly, it could be.
It could be. Again, I'm imagining you could do these in any order, and they would scale to your order. But
what would the Viridian City gym be?
I would still want it to be Gary.
Because in Fire Red Leaf Green,
any type gym.
Let's just, for listeners, so like the base game of Red and Blue, Giovanni, the head of Team Rocket, was the ground type gym leader. And then 3 years later in the Johto games, in the Gen 2 games, your rival he steps down from the Elite Four, becomes a gym leader, and it's kind of a variety team, which is kind of cool. And that fits well as a final challenge, as the 8th gym leader. But honestly, that's so cool. If the Viridian City gym was your first challenge, but like, who would pick up that role? Is that Silver? Is that what you were thinking?
No, I was thinking still keep Gary there. Since he took over that gym, I think, it's fine for him to just stay that gym. Because I think that would be like a cool plot point with Silver. Is like maybe he references, I was offered the Viridian City gym leader role, but I didn't want to be there. That's where my dad was. I want to be separate from that.
Sure. No, that makes sense.
The man was like, I don't know if he was abused, but he was neglected.
No, he was definitely abused. Father. Yeah.
So I would think, well, when I say abused, I mean like, was Giovanni even around to hit him?
Yeah. It's just non-present.
But sucky dad either way. So I think he would be like, I don't want to be at the Viridian City gym. I want to establish myself as a gym leader of my own right, I'm not, oh, it's the old gym leader's son. Yeah. No, I'm my own gym leader.
I think, that's, so when I think of Gen 5 in what is it, black? I think it's black 2, white 2. The first gym leader, is it the first gym leader in that game is your rival in black and white, right? Sharon?
Yes.
And he's, I think, Sharon, just a normal gym leader, which is kind of cool because it's like your rival of the previous game becomes what is the tutorial, right? The person who teaches the next generation, the player, and actually the person in the game. So I think a rival, what I'm imagining is maybe Gary or Blue. Maybe he's got a secret, high level, exciting battle later in the game, but maybe in the beginning of the game, Gary Oak or Blue is the first gym leader kind of to kind of teach new players. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I do like, I mean, again, I imagine it could be done in any order, but
yeah,
I do kind of like the idea of, since it's a mixed bag team,
and he has an Eevee
being last. Like, I know if it was in any order, I would save him for last just because it's going to be the most challenging one, because I can't just flamethrower my way through it or water pulse my way through it,
No, you're right. Yeah, anyways, no, I think that's right. I think, we're planning this for 2 different games. So I think my version of the game, I like the idea of maybe Blue having an Eevee, and maybe something else that is a little bit more of a wild card to kind of teach players like what you're, whatever you're doing. But let's not get too bogged down on that. Let's
Ditto.
Yeah, I was thinking Ditto. Yeah, that honestly could work. So Lieutenant Surge in Fire Red Leaf Green has Voltorb, Pikachu, and Raichu. I think he should have an Electabuzz straight up.
Oh, yeah. Replace that Pikachu with an Electabuzz.
Yeah, and then that's a pretty solid team right there.
Yeah.
For that level, for a third gym leader, I think that's pretty solid. Maybe Magnemite, too.
I would put him as I would change him, I think, to an Elite Four member, honestly.
Dude, that's cool.
I think it'll be really cool. Do we have an electric type Elite Four member? I can't think of one off the top of my head.
I don't think so, man. That honestly would be so cool, and the fact that he has...
I feel like he fits the role.
Yeah, and 30 years later, I don't know how old he's supposed to be, maybe like 30. I feel like he's supposed to be 30. So he'd kind of be an older man who has the wisdom, maybe kind of in the role of like an
old
Agatha.
Military type dude,
Yeah,
that'd be
I like
sick.
that a lot. That's really cool.
Well,
he's got a lot of personality.
In Vermilion City, excuse me. In that city, you have this guy who's like saying he's doing foundation work for some construction, and you never find out what that is. Interestingly enough, again, anime does not equal the games, but trying to do a Birdkeeper Toby here where I pull from multiple sources. In the anime, in Pokemon Journeys, it was set in Vermilion City. That was their home base. And there was actually something being constructed there, and it was a new gym. So it'd be cool to like find out that Lieutenant Surge retired, and this is a brand new gym that a new guy built and came in and became maybe honestly, something happened to him like what happened to that fighting gym in Saffron.
Yes,
where Sabrina came, kind of took
maybe that's where the ground type gym is.
Yeah,
maybe that's the new ground type gym, and there's a new character there.
Maybe Silver's there. Silver's who kicked him out.
Yeah. Honestly, that could be
to add to the dark,
And also, like, if he took the SS and to Johto, I don't know. That's what I'm thinking a little bit. I think it also makes sense with Lieutenant Surge. It's like, if his whole theming is war and competition, if a new person came in, or if another competitor came in and kind of booted him out of his own city, but he's like, whatever, I'm gonna go to the Elite Four. I like that a lot, and I think his gym could then be restructured as maybe another port, and then Vermilion City gets built out as an even bigger port city with more ships, which maybe could be playable or whatever.
It'd be fun too, like if he's an Elite Four member now, since he ranked up. Yeah. Maybe now he's no longer Lieutenant Surge, now he's Captain Surge.
That's cool. Yeah.
Because he
becomes an old captain.
Too.
Yeah, dude. Lieutenant Surge. Maybe he was always in the Navy.
Yeah.
That's honestly
Governor Surge. He's
he becomes the president.
He's in the President Surge.
I honestly like that a lot. That's fun. That's a lot of fun. All right, that's sweet. So now players would be in. Well, here, yeah. So you start in Viridian, Pewter, Cerulean. You go to Viridian, or Vermilion. I keep saying that. Normally, you would go to Celadon and fight. Erika.
Well, you could technically do,
you could go in any order.
The levels clearly implied an order, but you could go ahead and go down to Fuchsia and fight him instead. You could finagle your way to Saffron and fight her instead. You can kind of do those three in any order.
I totally agree. This is the part of Kanto that is completely open world, I think. This is what should be open world. They kind of get you going, and then you enter
it essentially was.
Yeah. This is the part of the game where it's like, well, now you have access to a boat. If you want, you can go to Johto. You can complete Kanto in any order. That's actually how I think the open world game should start. It should start kind of linear to keep you on a path, and then if players are competent enough to do that, and I'm thinking of younger kids, then that's when the game kind of opens up, right? It's still an engaging, focused game. It allows the Game Freak to implement like a direct story. Because that was another thing I didn't like about Scarlet and Violet. But let's keep going. So we've got Erika now. And again, the idea is you can fight these people in any order. Erika, again, is a lot older. I could see her moving, relocating to Johto and joining the Kimono girls. That was always a big theory. I don't know, not to name drop Toby again.
Put her in Eckertique.
And give her a Leafeon.
Put her in Eckertique and move Morty, which is the Eckertique gym leader, to Lavender Town.
Yes, dude. That is cool. That is cool. I like that a lot. So her team could be Vileplume. It could have Venusaur. I like Leafeon. I don't know why.
It has to be Leafeon.
I don't know why she doesn't. Does she have a Leafeon on this team? She doesn't have a Leafeon on this team. Does
she use it Heart Gold and Soul Silver, maybe? Like as a rematch?
Let's see. She does not have a Leafeon, but I'm telling you, she literally wears a kimono.
Oh, yeah.
She should move to Eckertique. I'm sorry. Yeah, Eckertique. And she should have a Leafeon.
In the anime, she has a Leafeon.
Her team is pretty cool in Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Her team is Jumpluff, Tangela, Victory Bell, Blossom. She's got to have a Leafeon. I've always liked Erika I've always liked the idea of her having a Venusaur. So I think she should also have that.
Dude, she's a shift tree. That's kind of insane, honestly.
Yeah, that is wild.
I love that.
They gave her an Abomasnow, which is kind of interesting. That's probably just for type variants, but I don't think
she
that
used
really applies.
a Whimsicott and Lilligant in
that's cool.
The World Tournament.
They could give her. I could see them giving her a Lurantis. That's a Kitakami Pokemon.
She also has a Leafeon in Masters.
Oh, she does. I'm telling you, man, that's got to be the team. So that's what I think her team should be, and I love the idea.
She's an Eckertique with the Kimono sisters, and she doesn't use a Leafeon. This game sucks.
Yeah, but that's what it has to be. So that's great. We can move on now. So if trainers want to go to Fuchsia City with Koga, so this is honestly
it'll be Janine now.
I know, dude. This is the impetus for it all. This is what gets me so excited. The fact that in the Johto games they said, Koga, you're getting upgraded. You're moving to the Elite Four, and your daughter. Now there's a new character, right? Your daughter is now the gym leader. It's so cool. Koga's whole team gets fleshed out. So Janine, where is this? Janine in Johto. Where is her gym? Let's see. So her team is Crobat, Weezing, Ariados 2, and Venomoth. Something here is that she's the poison type.
Types. Why did she use 2 Ariados?
I know.
Dude, Beedrill, Muck. I mean, there's other options.
We could do something cool here, and I don't really know if this would work because Bugsy is in the picture, but I kind of like the idea of her maybe doing her own thing and being like, you know what? Yes, I grew up with the poison type, but maybe I want to use my own. Maybe I want to use a new type, right? Maybe pivot to like the bug type if that is what she's inclined to do, right?
Sure.
So that could always be an option. You could give her Pokemon like Scyther. You could give her Pokemon. Well, what is the rest of her team in? Let's see, in the Kanto League. I mean, Poison could still work. There's actually a lot of Poison Pokemon she could have.
Yeah, I think I'd want to keep her Poison just because I think it's cute that she models after her dad.
Yeah, that's nice. But so she's seen with an Arbok, with a Tentacruel. I'm telling you, man, Tentacruel is so underrated. Tentacruel has some beefy stats, especially its special defense. I think that actually could be really cool.
Drapion and Toxicroak.
I like that a lot. Yeah, she's seen with the Roserade, with the Nidoqueen. I didn't even think about that, dude. Yeah, give her a Nidoking or a Nidoqueen. That'd be great.
And Heart Gold and Soul Silver, it says she has a Drapion and Toxicroak.
Oh, in the rematches?
In the rematches.
That's crazy.
I love
like those. Those are cool.
That fits into the ninja vibes.
It really does.
So hard. I love that.
Well, then she's set. I think she's got what she needs. I think that's a great team already. And like we said, Koga's in the Elite Four, but maybe he's retired at this point, right? If he's already 40, 30 years later, he's probably retired, you know? So moving on to Sabrina, who I feel like was always supposed to be like 12. Like she, at least in the, maybe a little bit older, but I know in the anime she was depicted as like a little girl.
No, she was actually depicted like probably like 20s.
Oh, really?
Like, it was weird. It was like psychic stuff. She had like...
Oh, she had a little doll.
A little like... It was basically like, yeah, a doll she was possessing almost. It was like her two personalities had split into two people.
Interesting.
I guess was like the best way to describe it. But that was weird.
So,
I think she wouldn't be here anymore.
Yes. In what are you thinking? Because I'm thinking that the fighting type... So in Saffron City, there are infamously 2 gyms. And the current one in red and blue is Sabrina's psychic type gym, but the subtext there is that the other gym is a fighting type dojo. It was a fighting type gym, and because psychic has the advantage against fighting type, they kind of got shut out. I like the idea of Sabrina just moving on, being like, not that she was beat, but that she was just like, you know what, I'm done with this. I don't really care about this. And then the fighting type gym takes the place. And then you've got your classic, you got your classic fighting type team there, right? Hitmonchan, Hitmontop, Hitmonlee, maybe a Tyrogue.
I would, maybe Chuck moves in and takes over.
Dude,
that
yeah,
gym.
I can see that. Totally.
But
or Bruno comes back. No, Bruno comes back. I always thought Bruno was originally the gym leader there. And then because they got beat, he's like, all right, well, I got brought. I don't know.
They established that the dojo leader was the gym leader. But,
okay.
But I think that with Sabrina, they in Black 2 and White 2, there's the Pokestar Studios, and she's actually an actress there.
Oh, yes.
So I could see her having retired and becoming an actress full time.
I like that a lot. Yeah. So she's just kind of out of the picture.
Yeah, like she might not even be in Kanto anymore. You might just have a line of dialogue where someone's like, the old gym leader was named Sabrina, but she moved to Unova to become a movie star.
Sabrina's so cool because I'm looking at her image right here. It's very small on the screen, but her animation in Black 2, White 2, she literally has psychic powers around her arms, and she's floating, which is so cool.
Dude, it gets so much cooler. Did you know that Sabrina canonically has a Mewtwo?
What?
In Black 2 and White 2, they did a battle between legendary Pokemon World Tournament.
No way.
And she uses a Mewtwo in it.
No way, dude.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I mean, it makes sense, dude. She's the prodigy.
Oh, yeah. She's like the psychic girl, right? Like,
she is the
She's
prodigy.
Beyond a psychic trainer. She is a psychic.
Damn, dude. Well, that's cool. Okay, so Saffron City is now the fighting type dojo. What are we thinking for what that, I don't know, what is that actually going to look like?
Absolutely has to be the Hitmons. Maybe Hitmontop is the ace.
Yeah.
Since it's kind of the bridge between the two. But yeah, I'd be fine with them literally just using Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan, Hitmontop.
Yeah, and then if it gets adjusted any further, I guess I am looking at Chuck's team a little bit, which is essentially that. It's Hitmontop, Hitmonchan, Hitmonlee, Conkeldurr, Poliwrath, Machamp. Honestly, I would move Chuck there, and we'll get into it once we get into Johto. But Chuck's just on an island. I feel like Chuck, right? Again, this is 30 years later. Actually, here's the thing. That's 30 years later. I bet he has a daughter because he's canonically Chuck has a wife who gives you the wife gives you the HM Fly. Right. So presumably they have a child of some sort, and maybe that is the gym leader in Kanto. Maybe.
Yeah.
So let's move on. So Sabrina's out of the picture. That's just sad because she's got a pretty stacked team. She had like a Metagross and everything. But now we move on to Cinnabar Island. Again, I think we need to, I want to explore the volcano. I want to be able to catch all these fire type Pokemon. Maybe Slugma. I heard a really cool theory that maybe Slugma only shows up in Kanto in the Gen 2 games because maybe it erupted out of the volcano, which is such a cool idea. Right?
Yeah, that's fun.
You should be able to find Slugma there. I think I said it earlier. I want to catch Johto Pokemon in the Kanto region. I think that's totally fine. Like you said, Houndour, Mischievous, etc. Right? But what do you think? Do you think Blaine is still going to be the gym leader? I think we said that maybe he retired.
I could see that. I also kind of feel like he's the kind of old man
who's just
like
still going.
I'll keep doing this until like he's 120, but like and run circles around you. You know.
Honestly, I could see that too, which would be cool. But I don't know where he would be placed. I could see it be like I could see it where he still wants to fight, but they're like, you're not actually as good as you think, but he's still actually super good, and he's kind of just like a side character that you can fight. Like he almost like created his own gym, even though it's not like an official team, an official like league gym.
I think it'd be fun to see him. I have two thoughts. So first, I think it'd be fun to see him now be an ice type gym leader because he was saved by Articuno. He went to the Seafoam Islands. It'd be cool to see him like fall in love with the ice type and kind of take over that.
Like that's cool, dude.
Because that's was his thing in the game, was he was saved by an Articuno. Yeah. So it'd be cool to see him just fall in love with the ice type. Also, too, it occurred to me, how neat would it be to like see one of these characters, like we were talking about Misty being aged up would be kind of weird. How cool would it be to see Misty be the same age because she's a faller? And she fell like 30 years into the future.
I mean, I think you're right. We probably would see some fallers.
Right,
it'd be like Blaine could be a faller.
One trainer.
Blaine could be the faller.
He could be. I think it'd be funner to do it with a young person because then like they stay the same and don't really age much, and it's weird because like Brock's a 45-year-old man and Misty looks exactly the same. Yeah. And then it's kind of cool too because like you might get to hear some stuff about how whereas like Ingo fell to a place where he didn't know anybody, Misty fell to a place where she knows everybody.
But it's all different.
Recognize them.
That's cool, dude. Because then that keeps Misty also like as an iconic placeholder, like a reference point, right? It's like it's like I'm just gonna keep doing this. It's like Chewbacca or the droids in Star Wars, right? It's like 60 years go by and they look like the same. That's your kind of your placeholder. I like that a lot, dude. So if we take a look at Blaine's team, I like your theory. If we take a look at Blaine's team, he's got Arcanine, Ninetales, Charizard, Magmortar, Flareon, Rotom. Here's the thing. You give him a Alolan Ninetales.
Yep.
You give him maybe Jinx for Magmortar. You give him Glaceon instead of Flareon. And then you could give him Rotom...
Frost, yeah.
Yep, Rotom Frost. And then you could do some shenanigans with Charizard. What would you give him instead of Charizard? That's awesome that he has Charizard.
Is it bad that I would straight up give this man an Articuno?
No, that's cool. I like that.
That'd be fun, I think.
That would be really cool,
Articuno's a weaker legendary, right? Because since it was Gen 1, it's kind of been phased out and how powerful it is. Like, it's been power crept out.
It probably has similar stats to Arcanine, so I'm totally fine with that. I don't know what else you could give him. The Arcanine is pretty iconic. That's the thing. Actually, I like this, dude. And then if you take a look at it, what he looks like, where he has like these red sleeves and he's got like this top hat with this red band. Imagine it all being like icy colored, right? It's all blue, light blue.
You can just color swap it because it's white and red. Just make it where the white is more in place and the red is more like...
Yeah.
Like, it'd be cool to see him have like one thing that references it. Like maybe he has a little like clothespin or something on his chest that's a little flame, to kind of reference where it came from.
Yeah.
It'd be a great time to give us a new either variant or form that has like or
that's so true, dude. Yeah,
ice typing.
They could just give us new types. I like that a lot.
Right.
Yeah. I'm forgetting about all of that while we go through these, but I like that a lot. And now getting back to Giovanni's team in Fire Red Leaf Green, this was this was the final gym battle, which was always kind of underwhelming with the double Rhyhorn Doug trio. But I don't think
not even a ride-on, man. Just a level 50 Rhyhorn. What?
Yeah, but we said he's probably not even there. Who did we say is gonna be in Lavender Town?
Morty. We said move Erika to Eckertique and put Morty in Lavender Town.
That's kind of cool. Morty could be like, oh, I found, I have these ideas. I've been feeling these tremors, and it brought me here, and he's trying to commune with the ghosts. That's really fun.
Especially because too, like, they kind of destroyed the Pokemon Tower and made it a radio tower. It'd be cool to see him there as these spirits have nowhere to go, so I'm here to comfort them. Just a very ghost trainer thing to say.